So if you can use views only once, why would you duplicate a view as a dependent, since they will be the same visual style or look? Well, it turns out, since you can change this view and it will be duplicated in the other, I can create a view with the scale of 1 to 100. So for big projects, sometimes this scale will not fit in a, let's save this project, always save when prompted. This project at scale 1 to 100 will not fit in a sheet. That was the same as a title block in AutoCAD in your layout tab. So let's create a sheet by going down to the sheet view, sheets, right click, and create a new sheet using a 24 by 36 landscape title block. So that's quite a huge sheet, but let's see if at scale 1 to 100 our view will fit into that size. So you can add a view to a sheet by simply clicking, hold, and drag it onto the sheet. So after you have done that, notice that the view is quite large. Scroll out. Notice that the crop view is quite huge. If I click to place, you'll see that the view, which is now being used in the sheet, is too big. So I cannot use this view again. Of course, I can still delete this since that's not what I want. So I'll delete that view so I can use that view again. But to use a 1 to 100 scale, there's a way of using these dependent views. So what you're going to do is you're going to duplicate the view, main view, several times. In this case, I've noticed that you need to duplicate it thrice, so 3 times. So I'm going to create 3 dependent views, and I'm going to crop those views so that I'm just going to show zones of the floor plan. So this will be my zone number 1, this will be my zone number 2, and then this will be my zone number 3. Okay, so I'm going to create another view, duplicate, view dependent, and I'm going to name it zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. And once I've done that, I'm going to crop each of the views accordingly. So showing this as my zone 1, and this area here as my zone 2, and this here as my zone 3. So let's rename this, right click, rename as first floor, oops, right click, rename as first floor, zone 1. Rename this as zone 2 and rename this as zone 3. Once you have done that, you can now go to zone 1, and this box here, the outer box, is a crop view box. So I can select that, and notice that it actually is composed of 2 boxes. One is the crop box for the objects, the model, and the dashed line is the crop box for annotation. So you can have annotation here outside, and if it's beyond the dashed line, it will be hidden, and if it's within the dashed line, it will show. So you can extend this further as needed. Okay. So I'm going to bring this down and crop this to this part. up to that part. Okay, so I'm going to limit the view that I'm going to be inserting in my sheet. So I'm going to crop this as well to this part. Okay, so I'm not going to show that part of the building that's going to be in zone 3. So I'm going to crop this to this part right here. Okay, so that's going to be my bottom line for zone 1. And then I'm going to, let's do that again, up to here. And then this one here up to there. So this is still at scale 1 to 100, but I have limited the areas that's going to be shown. So let's adjust that further. Okay, and let's try it out. Let's go to our sheets, go to our first sheet, rename this as, let's say this is my sheet number 1. Sheet number 1 normally is the title sheet, but let's just use sheet 1 for now. And then I'm going to say first floor zone 1. I'll click OK. Or sorry. Yeah, I think that's right. Zone 1. And then I'm going to go here, or sorry, I'm going to double click on it. Okay, and then to bring in a view to the sheet, I'm going to just click and drag this here. And once you see the view, you can place it nicely within the area. Click. And you'll see that we have a title here, first floor, zone 1. And once you've clicked that, you notice that there's a grip mark, so I can make this smaller. So right about where my title is. Okay, and I can select the view and move it around. Okay, I can also click the arrow keys to nudge it a little bit to the left or to the right as needed. Now, if we click outside, you can then select this and move it to where you want it located. So notice if you have the view selected and you have the grip marks, you're able to move the view with the title. If you click outside and simply click on the title, you can now move the title wherever you want it placed. Okay, so make sure you're able to do that. Again, select the view and you can change the length of the line. Deselect and select only the title. Click, hold, and you can move the title. Okay, so this then is zone 1, which is placed in our sheet A1, and that's our sheet title, first floor zone. So be careful with the way you title your views because it's all going to be used in your title block. Okay, so having done that successfully, I can now create another sheet, new sheet. This will be the same size. Let's just say this will be A2. So I'm going to rename this to zone 2. So first floor zone 2. I'll click OK. I'll go to my zone 2 view and change the cropping distances so that now I'm just showing beyond that point from zone 1. Okay, and then I'm going to show at the lower portion. I'm not going to show the entire boardroom because it will not fit. And then I'm not going to show this part of the general office area. So I'm going to crop that out because it will not fit in one sheet. Okay, and then I'm going to crop up to here. Okay, and once I have done my cropping, I can adjust that further later. I'll test it out in my sheet. So sheet number 2. Okay, go back to our first floor zone 1. I don't need to double click on it. I need to be in the sheet view and then click and drag this here. And once it's loaded, you can now click to place. So let's see if it will fit. I'm going to click to place. Okay, so I'll hit the arrow key to nudge it further to the left or to the right. Okay, maybe a little bit higher and to the right. Okay, if I double click inside this view, it's like I'm in the view itself, so I don't need to go back. I can maybe hide this. Maybe I don't need this here. So hide in view element. Okay. And then I double click outside. That will bring me back to my sheet or paper space and model space. Okay. So paper space. And then if I select this, I can move this maybe somewhere here. If I select the view, I can shorten this line. Okay, so if I need to further crop this so it doesn't go beyond the border line, I need to go to my first floor zone 2 view and adjust this cropping view here. So let me crop that further down. Okay, so hopefully that will do, but for good measure, let me crop this as well. So a little bit lower. Okay, let's try to show the door. And I think we're good with the side, but for good measure, let's also crop that. And likewise, crop this a little bit further. Okay, and let's check. Let's go to the sheet number 2, zone 2, and that I think fits nicely. Maybe I can nudge it down a little bit. Okay, just click on the view, then the arrow key, and then click outside. Okay, further adjustment might be needed, but that should do for now. And then lastly, I can create a new sheet using the same size, 24 by 36. I can rename this A3 first floor zone 3. Click OK. And then I can now go to my zone 3 view, which is a dependent view for my main first floor. Okay, click the crop box. This time I'm just going to show the office area. So that's my zone 3, focusing on the office area. So crop that left side up to that point, top up to here. Okay. and then to this side. Oops, I think I need to do it a little bit closer because I just want to show the office area, not the warehouse. I'm going to drop it to that point and crop this as well to show the boardroom. Okay, looks good. That might do. So let's go back to our sheet, zone 3. Go to our first floor, zone 3, click, hold, drag, and release. Once it's loaded, you can click to place. Okay, click to place. And then if you need to adjust, you can click the arrow key. Okay, and I think we need to crop the view further. Okay, so let's go back to zone 3. I thought I did. So it's still showing this. I'm going to hide that in view. I could have done that in the sheet view. So let's see if that works. Let's go down here. Okay, looks good. And then to move this, I just need to click and hold. So I can move the title. And to shorten the distance of this line, I need to click on the view. You see the grip mark. So I can shorten that. Okay, so that's one way of using duplicate views as dependent.